December 9th, 2025 work session of the Mayor and City Council of Hagerstown is now called to order. First up, today we have the FY25 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report by William Seymour with the SB Company and Michelle Hepburn. Brooke, are you coming up? Okay,
Come on, look.
just Michelle.
I know. I told her she could. Hello.
Michelle.
So this evening, some of you have become accustomed to seeing Chris Lehman. He's not able to be here, so he promoted up and gave it to his boss, right? Bill Seymour Williams. So he's going to be here this evening to walk us through this. Several of you are new to this process. He's going to cover like what happens and what they do and what they review during the audit, review the findings, and give a little bit of presentation on our financials. Everything included in this document. It's available on our website, right? And we gave paper copies of the annual comprehensive financial report in everybody's mailboxes. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And if we can't remember everything, we'll either pick on Brooke or we'll research and bring it back to you, okay? All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Bill for now.
Thank you, Michelle. Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon. My name is Bill Seymour. I'm the client advisory partner with SB and Company. As Michelle mentioned, Chris Lehman is the engagement partner. Unfortunately, couldn't be here. One of the things we do as a firm, we always have two partners on every single engagement for times like this. This represents our required communications under generally accepted auditing standards at the conclusion of an audit. I'm going to walk through our presentation. Please feel free to stop me with any questions that you may have. On slide 3, we have our scope of services. We are engaged to perform an audit of the June 30, 2025 financial statements. Performance of the Uniform Guidance Single Audit, that is a federal grants compliance audit that's required when you receive or spend more than $750,000 of federal funds. Review of the Uniform Financial Report. That is a report that takes the financial statements for the city and places them in a fit and format for the state of Maryland. A review of the data collection form, which takes the Uniform Guidance Single Audit and puts it in a fit and format for the federal government. And then as well as working with management on a year-round basis as items kind of come up, consultation, those types of items.
And the first bullet and the third bullet, the ACFR, the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, as well as the UFR, the Uniform Financial Report, are both due with deadlines at October 31st. They're state mandated deadlines. If we miss them, there's consequences, right? And then the Uniform Single Audit, again, when you have federal grants in excess of a certain threshold, that isn't due until March. So we are currently working through that right now. So we still have until March. We put copies of the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, or ACFR, as well as the single audits out on our website, and they're there and available for many, many years, just for reference and so that people can see them, right?
Thank you. The summary of the results, we've issued an unmodified, or if you will, clean opinion on the financial statements. That is the best opinion that we are allowed to issue under generally accepted auditing standards. It effectively says that the financial statements as presented by management are reasonably free of material misstatement. As part of our audit, we do certain inquiries, certain procedures in looking for fraud. Through those limited procedures, we did not note any discovery of fraud, nor were we made aware of fraud. However, our audit is not a fraud audit. That would be different in scope. But as I mentioned, through our procedures, we did not become aware, we're not made aware of any, and we did not find any areas that we thought that were overly have risk related to that. We noted no material weaknesses in internal controls over financial reporting. It's a very fancy way of saying that the processes and controls that management has put in place, had you removed the external audit from the process, we believe that those processes would allow for the production of accurate financial information. In other words, the information that you receive from Michelle and her team over the course of the year, we believe would be correct. Had we had lots of problems, journal entries, areas, then we would be talking about material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. We did receive the full cooperation from management. Want to thank Michelle and Tanya and their entire teams for getting us the information. And we noted no audit journal entries during the course of the audit. This is a pictorial of our audit approach. The design of it is we spend time understanding the city. We look for areas where we believe that are more susceptible to material misstatement, i.e. errors in financial reporting. Then we perform various control testing, both looking at the design and operation of internal controls, various analytical procedures, substantive procedures, audit standard required items, and the entire process is designed for us to obtain sufficient audit evidence for us to be able to issue that unmodified, or if you will, clean opinion, which we were able to do.
And so basically, it breaks down 2 times a year, right? The group comes in typically in April or May, and does a walkthrough and says, okay, show us the process. What does the bill generation look like, and how do you get it? How can you show a payment and show it to us on your bank statement? So that's one of many processes that they walk through. They do that again once a year, and then typically at the end of September, beginning of October is when we do the full rest of the financial audit, which is represented in the ACFR. But again, it's broken down over 2 different visits. Got a lot of time to study.
And so when we look at internal controls that management has put in place, we really look at them at 2 levels. The first of which is the control environment, and we use the COSO model of internal controls. That is the 5 interrelated components of the control environment: risk assessment, control activities, information and communication, and monitoring. And in each of those areas, we had no concerns and we considered it to be effective. Then we dive down to the key processes, and we look at those for treasury, the estimation, financial reporting, expenditures, payroll, revenue, fixed assets, and grant compliance. And through each of those processes, we noted no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies or had any concerns through the process. This slide here is a summary of the city's financial statements on the entity-wide basis. For those of you that are new to governmental accounting, we present the financial statements on 2 levels, what's called the entity-wide and then what's called the fund level. And there's 2 separate bases of accounting. What we've presented here is the entity-wide, which is on a full accrual basis of accounting. Your governmental fund statements are provided on a modified cash basis, as they are meant to provide reporting based more on a budgetary basis. The full accrual is as if you were a operating company, if you will. So when you look at the financial statements here, you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, the total assets of the city grew from $439 million at the end of '24 to just over $466 million at the end of 2025, with the majority of that increase resting in current assets, cash, receivables, and the like. If you look at liabilities slightly increased from $173 million to $177 million. And then overall, all the way at the bottom, when you see the term net position, that's kind of like retained earnings, or if you will, stockholders' equity. That is assets over liabilities. And you can see that that increased by approximately $30 million over the course of the year. So if you will, from a income perspective, a positive year for the city. And we had, going through the course of auditing each of these numbers, we had no issues or items that we would need to bring to your attention.
And so just to kind of step back one more time, and I know we kind of talked about it at budget time, but just as a refresh, the governmental funds and governmental activities, think of primarily the general fund and things that are supported through taxpayer local dollars, right? So the general fund, CDBG fund is in there, economic development, where we do our economic incentives. Also included would be any of our capital projects for the general governmental fund, right? Separate from that, business type activities, think again of everybody who has separate charges, service charges. The fees are supposed to be enough to cover the expenses, includes our electric, water, wastewater, stormwater, golf, property management. Then to break it down further on the balance sheet, assets. So basically think of assets as something that people owe you or that you own, like cash or an outstanding bill that somebody owes to us versus liabilities, things that we owe to someone else. And then the difference is the net position or how much is left over, right?
So when we look at the change in net position, that increase that we spoke about of $30 million, you'll see that number in the lower right-hand corner as change in net position of just under $30 million. This is, if you will, the income statement for the city on that full accrual basis. So you can see total revenues for the city increased from $142 million to $161 million in fiscal year '25, which is primarily driven by increases in charges for services in the business type activities funds. And then you could see on the expenses that they grew from $117 million to $131 million, or just under 132, excuse me, which once again drove that increase in net position to be just under $30 million versus an increase in net position for fiscal year '24 of just under $25 million. And same item, no issues in auditing any of these amounts. The remainder of our presentation, I'll just summarize this, is our specific required communications. This is our opportunity and responsibility to chat with you as kind of the oversight body, governance for the city, if we had items that were of a negative nature. You know, if there were accounting policies that were just barely acceptable, if there was a lack of proper application of accounting principles, if there were accounting principles that, you know, were controversial or not applicable, not written yet for transactions that the city was in. Really have none of those to disclose to you. As I mentioned earlier, there were no audit adjustments. We noted no instances of fraud or illegal acts, no material weaknesses, no disagreements with managements, no serious difficulties in the performance of the audit. We did receive a management representation letter for the audit. If you would like a copy of that, we'd be happy to provide that to you. We noted no consultation with other accountants, what we call opinion shopping. Hey, the firm down the street would accept this accounting, why won't you guys? None of that occurred. And lastly, we go through a process to ensure we are independent of the city, and I can certify to you that we are independent. And I'll stop there to see if there's any specific questions that we can address for you.
And so all of that to say, I mean, I know we all hear what we want to hear. And, you know, Bill and all of the accounting and audit world has changed, right? And the scope and the targets and all the hot button things that they have to focus on, and they have to cover key communication. But really the message is, everybody, one of the reasons that Michelle can be so difficult and be so insistent when adhering to policy is this right here, right? Right here. So we just got to keep in mind, sometimes, unfortunately, I have to say no. Sometimes we have to stay within policy, and the reason why. It's a very important framework that we all work under. And getting a clean audit is very good news.
Yeah, great job to the finance department.
Good job for Brooke, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Brooke and Chris really spend a lot of time. Does anybody have any questions for Bill while he's here, or myself? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll send something out later. All right. Next up, we have our preliminary agenda review. I'll rip through this as quick as I can. First up, we'll have our call to order, our invocation. Pledge of the flag, our announcements of rules of procedure that are effective November 18th of 2025. Use of cell phones during meetings is restricted. All correspondence for distribution to elected officials should be provided to the city clerk and should include a copy for the city clerk for inclusion in the official record. Our January meeting schedule is of 2026. On January 6th, no meeting is scheduled. January 13th, work session at 4 p.m. January 20th, regular session at 7 p.m. And January 27th is our day in Annapolis, so there's no meeting scheduled. Citizen comments, 30 minutes are allotted for citizen comments for items germane to City of Hagerstown business. We'll have our approval of minutes for November 4th, November 5th, 17th, 18th, and 25th, all of 2025. Under consent agenda, we'll have engineering, Marsh Run Wall Repairs, Concrete Central LLC, Hagerstown, Maryland, $250,000. Under finance, Armored Car Service, January through December 26, Loomis, Palatine, Illinois, $15,600. Under fire, personal protection gear replacement, Whitmer Public Safety Group, Coates Hill, Pennsylvania, $56,381.88. Under information technology, Office 365 license renewal, VTech Solutions, Washington, D.C., $109,536. Annual subscription fees for new ERP system, Spry Point, Charlottetown, PE, Canada, $218,111.25. Additional subscription and training fees for new ERP system, Workday Incorporated, Pleasanton, California, $421,311. Under police, maintenance, mobile command post, B&M Diesel Services Incorporated, St. Thomas, Pennsylvania, $16,960.05. Under Public Works, Potterfield Pool Chemicals, Amato Industries Incorporated, Silver Spring, Maryland, $30,000. Utilities, wastewater, annual chemicals purchase, various vendors, $671,482.40. Under water, annual chemicals purchase for FY26 and FY27, various vendors at $1,696,822.20. Under unfinished business, we'll have approval of an ordinance amendment to Chapter 79 curfew for juveniles. Approval of an ordinance zoning map amendment, ZM 2025-02, Lorich Property, 1912 Day Road, Hagerstown. Under new business, approval of a resolution, user agreement with Monocacy Aquatic Group, our club at Potterfield Pool, 2026 through 2028. Approval of updates to guidelines and application for Hagerstown Revolving Loan Fund Program. Approval of Axon contract. Approval to authorize staff to terminate the UniFirst contract. Approval to modify the approved contribution to the Washington County Historical Society. Approval of new enterprise resource planning software project change order. Approval of forfeiture of State of Maryland DHCD CDC tax sale acquisition rehab grant and authorization to reapply. And we'll have our city administrator comments, mayor and council comments, and then we will adjourn.
There is a work session scheduled for 5:30 that night. That is to present the 10-year plan, downtown plan. You'll get that night, and then we'll be back in January for any discussion or any updates that you all wanted to want to add to it.
Yes, that was at 5:30.
That's at 5:30.
And then the regular session will be at 7 p.m.
That's correct.
Yep. Okay, next up, we have forfeiture of State of Maryland DHCD CDC tax sale acquisition rehab grant and authorization to reapply. Amanda Gregg and Margie Joe.
Afternoon. So just a little refresher, bringing back this, an amendment to this grant was brought back in September from staff. This grant was awarded in 2021 by the Department of Housing and Community Development from the state of Maryland. It is for tax sale acquisition and rehabilitation. In September, when we came back to the table, we were asking for a modification after talking to DHCD a little bit, asking for our next extension on that. And they kind of urged us to do that. After we came to you guys and resubmitted it back to them, they kind of went back a little bit on that and asked us if we would consider forfeiture of the funding right now and reapply under new terms and new stipulations, as honestly, we're not ready to use these funds quite yet. So we're coming back for bringing this to you before bringing it next week for formal approval to give those funding back to the state of Maryland.
And I can tell you that we do have, the city attorney has put in for the first right of redemption on one of the properties, 134 Clarkson, as kind of our test case to make sure that everything was done. She's getting, they're processing, serving the parties and publishing the notices that are required by law. She plans to do another one next week, and then we're going to see how those shake out. Then we're going to throw the rest of the 15 or so properties.
It's a total of 23.
We're just trying to make sure over this time the process has been done correctly and we're not hurting anybody.
So, and the window for, well, we intend to reapply, so the window for that will be late spring, early summer next year.
Anything else, council? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the access easement for Columbia Gas, Mr. Jim Bender.
Good afternoon. So back in August, the council approved granting an easement to Columbia Gas to make it easier to access their storage yard at their facility at 55 Sycamore Street. And the council approved it. We had presented that to council, under the understanding from Columbia Gas that they were fine with the easement, and we went ahead and processed that. What I didn't realize at the time is that Columbia Gas Operations approved that plan, but they had not actually given the easement to their legal counsel to review. And so when it got to them for signature and their legal counsel looked at the language in the easement, they had a couple tweaks that they wanted to see made to it. So what's in the packet is a red line version of what was originally approved back in August. Nothing is changing with the easement itself as far as where it's located or how large it is. It's just some language changes that basically, the original agreement said that Columbia Gas was going to be responsible for maintenance of that easement. Part of that easement's actually used by the city. It's the driveway into the Public Works storage yard. And so Columbia Gas asked, can we make that a joint maintenance responsibility in the language instead of just all being on Columbia Gas? And the city attorney reviewed it. I reviewed it. I don't think we really have any issue with that. Frankly, I don't really know that it's needed, but I think in order to get Columbia Gas to sign off on it, that we're going to have to make that change in the language. So that's what's in the packets. If the council is in agreement, then we'll actually present a resolution to approve this revised easement at the regular session next week.
Good. Well,
Thank you.
thanks, Jim. Next up, we have the lodging out of doors ordinance update. Chief Piper.
Good evening. So, good news, we didn't have any increases in contacts since our last notice. We're contributing that to the colder than normal earlier setting of that, and with the shelters opening up, we believe that's plays a large part in why we're not having any real contacts at this point in time. But I wanted to review where we are with everything. 44 documented contacts, 52% of those were proactive. We engaged with the person without a call. 47 were reactive, so pretty much a 50-50 split. Individuals ranged from the age of 22 to 70, most falling between 35 and 45 years old. Most involved single individuals, 81%, while 13% involved groups of friends and 4.5% involved couples. 59% of the contacts occurred on public property, while 40% occurred on private property. Among the 36 individuals who responded to the service-related questions, 81 reported they were either offered services during the interaction or had been offered services previously. Additionally, 75% of those individuals contacted were not using any form of public services by their own admission. Unemployment remains the significant contributing factor. 95% reported being unemployed, 42 individuals who provided additional detail, 73% reported having no place to go, 14 stated they were outside by choice, and 11% said they had a place to stay but were unable to return due to some conflict at their place where they could go. Residency information showed that while most individuals were local, many came from surrounding jurisdictions. Of the 41 who disclosed their origin, 61 were from Hagerstown or Washington County. 39% came from other areas, including Baltimore, Frederick, Martinsburg, New York, Pennsylvania, Rockville, and Washington, D.C. The outcomes of these encounters, 51% of the individuals were moved along and informed of the ordinance. 37% were moved along and demonstrated awareness of the ordinance when we had the contact with them. The remaining cases, we made arrests in, but they were for warrants or drug relations or some other violation and not the ordinance itself. Throughout the engagements, officers documented various contributing factors, including suspected CDS use, mental health concerns, individual declining assistance, personal circumstances such as seeking shelter, family conflict, drug treatment, or leaving shelters in other jurisdictions. These findings illustrate the characteristics and needs of the individuals impacted by the ordinance, while also highlighting how seasonal conditions and shelter availability likely influence the decline in our contacts as of the end of October. So we're postulating that the colder than normal weather and the shelters being open has reduced our contacts with individuals. Still have had contact with our community partners. They've seen an increase in people seeking assistance. We believe, and some of those have mentioned to them, the ordinance being one of the contributing factors of why they were seeking that assistance. So it's having a positive impact that we were looking for without the negative consequences of making arrests and doing those things. So I'm pretty satisfied and happy with that. We're going to continue with the tabulations and gathering the data as we move forward, and hope that, I believe next month it comes back up.
You would do another update in January on December, and then the council would take up the sunset, whether to continue it
Right.
Permanently for another sunset period or not to do it again.
Right.
Or to stop it.
Yeah. So that's where we are.
It's encouraging to hear you say that it's doing what it's designed to do.
Yeah, we're not seeing any increase and we're not having any conflict, basically. So, just what we thought. I still, like I said before, when we were presenting this ordinance for you guys, if we used this a handful of times in a year, I would be surprised. And we're already months into it now and haven't had to use it at all.
I know you just said something about seeking resource. Has that been the staple through every month that you've reported? Have you noticed that there's been an uptick in?
In talking to in our community partners, yes, I've heard that. Yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yep.
At the end, excuse me, at the end, can we have a visual where month to month we can kind of go down the line and see
Sure.
the numbers?
Yeah.
What
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay,
All right.
thanks, Chief.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, next up, 2026 Hub City 100 miler, Amy Riley.
Hello, good evening. Thanks for having me. So I am wearing the shirt of the 2026 Hub City 100 miler, and I brought everybody a shirt to the meeting this evening, hoping you all will help endorse the program that starts January 9th. As you know, it encourages a healthy lifestyle, active living, wellness in the new year. Again, it starts Friday, January 9th, and we're kicking it off this year at the Hagerstown Fieldhouse. We've kind of outgrown our space at the Fit Room, which is a good thing. So we're inviting you all to come to the Hagerstown Fieldhouse on January 9th, Friday, from 4 to 6. We'll have vendors, we'll have giveaways, and we're going to walk our first official mile for the Hub City 100 miler at that time. So it's 1 mile a day for 100 days. We have prizes along the way. We do weekly drawings. We have some fantastic grand prizes along the way. I know you guys are really familiar with it. So I'm here to just see if you'll sign up this year and encourage your family and friends to do the same. So I did include a copy of our flyer for the Hub City 100 miler. All of our information is available on our Facebook page and the city's website. And we have a Facebook group that you can be a part of throughout the 100 days to stay motivated and to just stay connected with us. And again, we just really hope you'll participate and help us get the word out about it.
Will do.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Amy.
Like I said, I have shirts for everyone, so after the meeting, if you want to grab, we have some limited sizes, but when you register, we're also doing some long sleeve shirts. So if you want to get a long sleeve one as well, that option is there for you. So we hope to see you at the kickoff.
Can I touch it? It's
Yeah,
the same
it's
soft.
the soft shirt,
It's the same
yes.
soft.
We'll never go back to the,
Thank you.
yeah. No,
Do
we're
you
gonna
usually
stay.
have vendors?
We do. So we, at the kickoff, we do have vendors. It's mostly a lot of our wellness partners. But if you're interested or know some vendors that want to participate, we have more space now at the field house this year.
Would they just contact?
Just contact me
you?
at the our Parks and Rec office and we can get you signed up. Yep. And I also want, that's okay. No. Just at least a few days before so we can make sure we have space and can get you a table. But if they just want to email me or just call the office, that's great. We'd love to have everybody be a part of it. We have a lot of different companies that are sponsoring their employees this year, which has been a really great addition to the program. So it's become a wellness initiative for a lot of businesses in the area. Yeah,
How many
including the
years you been
city.
doing this?
13.
Started it?
Yep.
Yep.
Actually, Rodney Tissue heard the idea from Roanoke. They were doing a 100-miler, and he's like, I think this would be really great for Hagerstown. So actually, Rodney brought it to the office, and we kind of ran with it.
Yep.
So it's great because any age, any fitness level can participate. So I think it's great.
I tried to do my 100 miles at one time.
Okay. Well, a lot of people get nervous, like, I can't do 100 miles all at once, but it's
That's the
not.
question I always get.
Yes, so it's 1 mile a day for
Sounds like
100
two, that's two JFKs.
Right?
I'm not doing it all at one time.
Yeah, so no 100 miles all at once, just 1 mile. So yeah, so grab your shirt and thanks for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The administrator.
All right. Once again, you've heard me before say it, if you can't find something to do in Hagerstown this weekend, you ain't looking hard enough.
That's right.
Friday night, Chris Kendall Market will start at 3 o'clock and go to 8 o'clock at University Plaza. Holiday pop-up shops are 3 to 8 at 6 North Potomac Street. The Merry and Bright Holiday Light Bus Tour will meet at Hatters Plaza. That's from 6 to 9. Diamond Fest at Meredith Park, 5:30 to 9. And also at Hub City Vinyl, there's a Nirvana tribute. So one thing Brittany and Leah did this time was there is so much going on. She did a direct email out to all the Main Street downtown businesses just to let them know, be ready, because it starts Friday night. Should be a nice crowd. Saturday, the 13th, Chris Kendall again, 10 to 4 in University Plaza. Holiday pop-up shops, 11 to 5. The holiday cookie crawl is 11 to 4, and I think that's already sold out. But that'll be all through the downtown businesses. Again, Diamond Fest, a Christmas Carol at Act Black Box on South Potomac, the Nutcracker at the Maryland Theater, and a Rush tribute at Hub City Vinyl. So you can't get much more packed than that for Saturday. And then Sunday, a Christmas Carol at Act Black Box, and the Nutcracker has its matinee performance at 3 at the Maryland Theater. So huge weekend, holiday weekend here. And also, I know you all are going to talk about it, but I want to thank all the staff for coming together literally in hours on Thursday to help Williamsport out, the folks in Williamsport that worked hard to get their parade stuff together, that we were able to accommodate them and help Williamsport out. It was the way it's organizations, in my opinion, are supposed to work, and everybody did a great job. I know you're going to talk a little bit more about it, Mayor, but that's it for me.
Is that all that's going on this weekend?
That's all that's going on. You can't find something to do. You ain't looking.
Councilman Flaherty? Councilwoman Anderson?
To piggyback a little bit back on what Scott mentioned about the last minute, there was a lot of feedback about what Brittany was able to do. A lot of people are saying that they want to see this continue, so hopefully we can have this year after year.
And I appreciate that, but the one thing I don't want to do, that's Williamsport's gig, right? That parade. I don't want to compete with that. I think there's something we can do there, maybe at another time. And plus, with all the members with the Mummers Parade just being, a month before, it's something we're going to talk about, but that's Williamsport's parade. And as fun and as nice as it was, I don't want to compete with Williamsport on Christmas parades. But I think there is definitely opportunity to do something along those lines somewhere in the holiday season.
Or something like. that.
Something like it. Yep.
Maybe we can coordinate with
And we
Wednesday.
could maybe do, yeah, we could maybe do that.
But I guess the bright side was there was just so much positive feedback.
Yep.
Like, I can't stop hearing about it. So that's a good thing. And then I did have a great time at the city, the lighting that we've had at the city park. So thank you for everyone who came out as well. That's all I have for today.
Councilwoman Burnett?
Also want to give a shout out to staff for putting on the parade last minute. Literally, when Brittany texted me that this idea was floating, I checked my emails and it's already done. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna pull it off, but excellent job. That's all. Thank you.
Councilman Arshaw?
So last week we had a spirited debate about the Ethics Commission and the things like social media policies that the public, wasn't privy to. And I know you're not really supposed to disclose all the stuff in closed session, so I'll just say it was spirited. And staff provided some follow-up information. And I've tried this once before, Councilmember Flaherty, so I'm going to try it again. And I've told you before, I'm a very direct person. So when staff provided that information to us that we had asked for, I responded, other members responded, and your response was, we're elected against everyone, and I agree with that. But you took it a step further, and you basically said the Ethics Commission has failed the civic. And that's your opinion, you're allowed to have that, and I appreciate that. But then you basically said that you find Councilmember Bell shameful for actions not associated with our particular
Well, her fiance has
spirited
that
debate.
HPD, so that's.
I have the floor right now, which was fine. You're allowed to express those opinions. And, I let that one go. It didn't, it's not my argument to be in. But then you had a second response, because Councilmember Bell's response to you for having to go through, and that's the process we afford folks to file ethics complaints and go through that process. But her response to you in going through that process was to express that during that process, she experienced some moments, people knocking on her door and running away and things like that I think, at least I took from her email to express that she had some fear for the public safety for herself and her home, some fear for the public safety for her children who are home when she's not present. And your response to that was, your actions have consequences.
I do.
And further, that you find it appalling that this member of council is an elected member to this body. And I can't help but then go back to the first notation in your first communication where you cite the occurrences for a gentleman like Mr. Kirk, who, was the events of a person taking those extreme actions through sort of that type of rhetoric, of words that folks take to a degree that we don't want to see in our society. And I've debated using my word versus another word here. So I'm supposed to say, I find that response concerning. I don't find it concerning. I find your response disturbing. I find it absolutely disturbing that you have that mindset. I don't think that it's appropriate. I think we can have these conversations, and here's my thought, and I'm going to say it one more time. I think it's really easy for folks to get on a computer and type things out of some emotion of the moment they may have than it is to sit in front of a person or stand in front of a person and simply communicate that in an appropriate way to sort of diffuse that and digest it and resolve it in some professional adult manner that isn't tied to that emotion that you can sort of just let fly off the cusp when you're behind a keyboard or not in front of that person. All I'm saying, and I'll say it again, and I said this when you took that action on Facebook, is we're sitting right here. We are all adults. We were all duly elected. We can communicate our concerns to one another in a rational manner. And we can certainly do so in a way that is not extreme and that is not disturbing to suggest that you want to see harm caused to another individual by stating that they deserve those things like that happening to them as consequences.
That's all. That's all I said. Actions have consequences.
And the consequences of causing harm to people is not appropriate consequences.
Well, you do what you do. People are going to do what they're going to do. So
And that to me
there's
is,
consequences to
that to
your
me is
actions.
not,
And I know you don't believe
that to me is
Okay.
not stable thinking. And I didn't talk to anybody, by the way, at this table about this issue before I read that this evening. I can tell you that that is absolutely not the response that I would want to have if I felt that my personal safety or my family's personal safety was in some form in jeopardy because of the extremism of the words of rhetoric that people use in these settings that empower other people to feel they can take those actions.
Councilwoman Bell? I have two items, and I want to remind the public as well as council that we have a work session on December 11th. It's a 1 p.m. tour of the Hagerstown Fire Department administrative offices and the fire station, so just a little reminder. Number two, the event on Friday night, our tree lighting, I want to piggyback on what Scott said. Was simply amazing of what our city staff did to put that together. It was called Tinsel and, or what is it? Tinsel and Twinkle. I don't know who came up with the name, but Brittany came up with that name. That's good. But our Hagerstown Police Department, our Fire Department, Auxiliary, and as well as our Parks and Recreation. If you would have saw our email chain of what was going on and trying to get this thing together, it was amazing. They did it in less than 24 hours to help Williamsport out of the situation. And that's exactly what municipalities would do for one another, and I think that was great. And I'd like to call out a couple people, our own city administrator as well, Scott Nice-Warner had a big hand in that. Brittany Arizmendi and Leah Carroll with our community engagement. Jim Bender with our engineering, Amy Riley with our Parks and Rec, Mark Haddock and Eric Dykey with our Parks and Rec, Mark Renner and Joey Kuiper with our HPD, and Chief DeBacco with our fire chief, and Wes Decker with our communications. Again, if you would have saw the email chain amongst all of these people to get this thing done, it was amazing. So I want to thank you guys for doing that. And the public probably thanks you as well, because like Councilwoman Anderson said, there was lots and lots of positive feedback on that. It was great. And I also want to, the whole event as well as the city tree park lighting was great. All the vendors, the fire dancers, Brian Smetzer and what he did with the DJing, it was amazing. So I just want to thank everyone for that. And with that, that's it for me. Do I get a motion to adjourn?
Not yet. You have a moment right now. Do you want to take this time out to?
No, I
provide-
mean, if anything, we said Council member Alshire said he wanted to be adult, he could have brought these issues to me instead of doing it at the end of public comment, so that tells me everything. I have nothing further to say.
Okay, the opportunity was given. Go ahead.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on any items tonight? Okay, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
And
Hello and welcome to Council Wrap. I'm Wes Decker and I'm joined by Recreation Coordinator Amy Riley. We tried to do this a couple of weeks ago and the schedule just didn't seem to work out, but I think it's good now because you get the stage all to yourself here. And as you presented to Mayor and Council, the 100 miler, Hub City 100 miler, one of the great events because it's one of the ones that runs for the longest period of time. And I think people ultimately get out of it what they put into it. And as you mentioned in the meeting, and I said to Brittany a couple of weeks ago on Council Wrap, you know, it is a little intimidating when you think about the 100 miles, but they're spread out over 100 days. And you make it so easy, all of the correspondence for people that come through the emails and the ability to be on Facebook and get encouragement and suggestions and all of that. So give us a little overview of exactly what I'm talking about. Obviously, I know what it's about. You know what it's about. But, you know, this is your opportunity to kind of, you know, sell those on it who perhaps aren't quite aware.
Okay. Well, if you're looking for something to keep you motivated in the new year, we are encouraging folks to register for our annual biggest program of the year is called the Hub City 100 Miler. And as you said, some people freak. They're like 100 miles. Like I can't do that in one day.
Right.
So the answer is you're committing to 1 mile a day for 100 days. So you don't have to do all 100 miles in one day. It's just the 100 miler. So January 9th, we kick off the program and we all gather. This year we are gathering at the Hagerstown Fieldhouse. It's going to give us a little bit more space. Plus it gives the opportunity for those who've never seen that awesome facility. We're going to be gathering there for our first official mile of the program. It's not a requirement to be a part of the first official mile. The beauty of the 100 miler is it's all self-driven. It's all honor system. It's all what, like you said, what you put into it, you get out of it. So you're basically committing that I'm going to stay active in the winter when it's really easy to be like, I'm going to stay on my couch in a blanket. And if you miss a day, just do 2 miles the next day. If you miss 2 days because the weather really stinks, then just make it up. So it's what it's being a part of a community. It's being a part of a movement. And we at Parks and Rec are here to help you along the way to help stay motivated. So we send out a weekly newsletter and we have a Facebook group. So we allow others to share how they're getting their weekly miles in, and you can walk it, you can jog it. We say sled riding with your kids counts. If you sled ride for 20 minutes, anything that you're physically doing for say 20 minutes, we say counts as your daily mile. So if you're shoveling a neighbor's driveway, if you go play pickleball at the field house, if you take one of our fitness classes and it's 40 minutes, that day would be 2 miles. So it's very flexible. It's great for any age, any fitness level. And again, it's just a way to stay motivated in the new year. That's the whole point.
And you mentioned in your presentation during the meeting that this is the 13th year for this. What are some of the things that you've heard over the course of the years from people? You know, maybe perhaps something that surprised you, because I know you think of all different ways to sort of promote this, but then maybe you've heard some feedback perhaps from someone that you're like, I never quite thought of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the best news is always, you know, you've got me moving in the winter months. My diabetes, like any kind of ailment somebody might have had, or numbers have lowered because they're staying active in the winter months. People have lost a lot of weight. I hear some folks that stay connected with family members from out of town. So you don't have to live in Hagerstown, even though we love all the city residents to do this. We have people in the city that encourage their family members, say in California, North Carolina, to take the challenge with them. So they're all kind of like rooting for each other, and they're helping each other stay motivated from different states. So, and they check in with each other weekly, and I think that's cool feedback, because
that is cool.
Yeah. So you don't have to live here, and you can do it with a friend, do it with your family. I have folks that come to us now buying gift cards at Parks and Rec because they want to give the gift of fitness. I had to do a little plug there.
That's okay.
They gift the 100 mile, like a registration for the 100 mile to the family, because they thought this is something fun that we can do as an experience. Maybe like gifts are great, but this is a gift that I can give to my family. We can do this together in the new year. I think that's probably a memorable thing that speaks to me, I guess.
No, that is very cool, because it's something probably when this started 13 years ago, it wasn't quite as easy to do that. Now that
Right.
technology has evolved and all of that. And you mentioned the gift cards and things like that.
Yeah.
So there is a cost associated with this. What is that, and what can people get in addition to what they sign up for
Okay, yeah.
in terms of the prizes and things like that?
So the basic entry to get into the 100 miler is $10. So you purchase a $10 entry. It's a 14-week program. You basically get a weekly newsletter, again, a Facebook community, but you also get a chance every week to win a prize. So every week we raffle off at least 2 prizes. And there's some really great prizes. It could be anything like fitness related. We have gift cards for different places downtown, movie tickets, entries to 5K races. Like we reach out to different businesses and community members that get some really cool prizes. So you can also upgrade to $20 and you get a really cool t-shirt, which I have it on tonight.
You do.
So and people love the shirts because it's the soft like material now. Everybody loves the shirts. And then if you do $25, you get a long sleeve shirt. So you can get a short sleeve for $20, $25 gets you long sleeve. And then if you register with your dog for $25, you get a t-shirt and your doggy gets a cute little prize this year too. So yeah, it's great for folks that have animals. You get to walk with your dog.
And what type of participation have you seen over these now almost 13
Yeah.
years at this point? I mean, how have you seen this increase? And I know you talked about some of the feedback of,
Yeah.
of families, and no matter where somebody might be, they can be part of this with their family, as it relates there. But then on the other hand, businesses and things like that certainly, encourage employees. Many of them do.
Yeah.
Done a great job of promoting this for so long and making it new and different, I think, each and every year.
Yeah. So participation wise, again, you don't have to be in the city to participate. So we get a lot of like just public people who register, but companies can sponsor their employees for the 100 miler. And it's great for companies because if you don't want to have to run a wellness program yourself, like we run it for you. So, and a lot of companies are looking for a wellness program in the new year. So we work with Volvo, WCPS, the city, and we help get your employees registered for the 100 miler. And then we, do all the work for the 100 days to keep them motivated.
Yeah.
But our best year of the 100 miler, we had about 1,600 people participate.
Wow.
We're averaging now about 1,000 to 1,100. We're
Okay.
kind of like at a sweet spot.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it go up
Yeah,
again.
I'm sure.
So,
I'm sure.
yeah, but we get a lot of great participation, and it motivates me too, just hearing from everybody that they're really enjoying the program.
Well, I think that's a little of it because it's, you're sort of held accountable by
Yes.
others who are doing it because they want to talk about, what they're doing. They want to
Right.
know what you're doing, and just that camaraderie. It's not shaming someone into
Right.
anything else, but it's just motivating them to perhaps even go beyond just the 1 mile a day.
Right.
Which
And
is certainly beneficial.
Yeah, and a lot of folks say, "Well, I already do a mile a day," like because you do. You wear your fitness
Yeah,
gear,
but-
and
but get some credit for it. And perhaps a
right, get some
prize.
credit.
Yeah,
Exactly.
come on.
So it's really easy to
Yeah.
do, and you might already be doing it. And you're not even realizing it, and then you just push yourself a little bit further because you're
Yes.
being encouraged, and you're meeting other people who have a fitness mindset. Maybe you don't have a fitness mindset when you start, but you just learn some healthy habits. We
Yeah.
have Martin's is sponsoring the newsletters this year, and the girl who's writing the newsletters is a nutritionist, so she's going to include a lot of healthy recipes, easy recipes that you don't need to be a really great cook to be able to implement some healthy choices in your
Geez,
daily diet.
You must know how I am in the kitchen. I mean, that sounds familiar right
Yeah,
there.
no, so it's yeah, it's a great program.
Yes.
It's fun to be a part of, and it's fun to run because not physically run, but just it's motivating to me as well.
And I'm assuming you're somewhat excited about the fact that you'll be at the Hagerstown Fieldhouse.
We are.
You mentioned some of the advantages of that, but to be there for the first time presents a whole new wrinkle to this from kickoff to conclusion.
Exactly. So we always did the kickoff in the Fit Room at Fairgrounds Park. And when you come to the kickoff, we have a lot of different vendors set up, anywhere from like Meritus to different fitness centers to some sponsors set up to do some giveaways. But those tables are growing. So we're like, we need a new facility to do this at, and it's cool to do it outside.
Yeah.
So the Field House offered their space, and I think we'll get a lot more, maybe some more vendors there, some more people that might have never walked through the doors of the Field House can come check it out. So they'll be open, again, this is Friday, January 9th, from 4 to 6. You can come check out the vendors, and then you can come check out the Field House. I know they're going to be doing some things in tandem, maybe like a free, try a spin class, try their fitness center, try some Pilates. I'm still confirming, but they might even be able to maybe try out their field space that day, their courts. I know they have a lot going on.
Oh, yeah.
So I know it'll just be, and it's an indoor facility in the winter, so it's nice
Yeah,
to have
perfect.
that option. So
Yes, for sure.
they're a great partner in this. So we hope that some new folks can check them out.
Yeah, and just shifting gears a little bit and going back in time to last Friday and the events at City Park, and then everything that led up to that, as was discussed at the end of the meeting today, the Tinsel and Twinkle procession, which was very impromptu, very successful by all accounts. But I was talking to someone who represents F&M Trust, Laura Lowry, the other day, and she was so pleased with the way that things went on Friday as it related to City Park, everything that led up to it, and then the illumination of the park and just the entire event. And one of the things she mentioned was the location of Santa Claus this year being closer to the epicenter of all of the activities, as opposed to being up at the Mansion House Art Gallery, which was nice in and of itself. But that little nuance, that little change this year, she thought was really a positive within all of that. But now we're all excited about driving through the park. I know City Administrator Scott Nicewarner has mentioned this for years with his grandkids, making that trip through with the music and the lights. So talk about that a little bit. And, if people aren't familiar with it, or if they are, just talk about, again, how much fun that is and what they can expect.
Absolutely. So like you said, we kicked it off last Friday. We officially turned the lights on at City Park, and that includes lights around the entire park as a drive-through. There's also dancing trees on the water. So as you're entering City Park, you tune your car into 90.3 FM, and it'll sync up with the dancing trees on the water. So that's the first thing you'll see as you're entering at Key Street. But then you continue to drive around City Park, and you just see all the different types of Christmas lights and holiday lights. And it's just like a really great way to kind of get in the mood for the holidays and Christmas. And it's become more of a drive-through over the past couple years. Before, it was more get out of your car, walk on foot.
Right.
But the Parks Department has done a really good job each year trying to add some new lights to the whole program. But we're also looking for sponsors. So F&M Trust was a big sponsor. I want to give them a shout out for the City Park lighting. But they're also their sponsorship and other sponsorships help us keep the lights on and growing throughout the park for the season. So every night in December from 5 to 11, you can drive through City Park and see the lights.
Free of charge.
Free of charge. And if you want to get out of your car, there's a really cool tunnel along Museum Drive, which is
that is
sponsored by
cool.
the Field House. Shout out to them. And the pavilion there as well is sponsored by Laura Brenneman State Farm.
Okay.
And I know they're going to be out there a couple nights this week and next week, just doing some fun giveaways in the evenings. If you're driving through, or if you want to stop on foot, you can go stop by and see them.
Very
So
cool.
5 to 11 through the end of December. Go see the lights.
And at the Hager House, German Christmas.
German Christmas, which is an annual tradition at the Jonathan Hager House. So last Saturday was our kickoff. We have 3 Saturdays in December that we have German Christmas tours, 10 o'clock, noon, and 2. If you stop in at the Visitor Center, which is now upstairs because we're renovating the museum, you purchase a ticket, which we are a cashless facility, so bring your credit card. But we have really 2 great tour guides that really bring the German traditions alive at the Hager House. So if you're looking to something unique to do this Saturday and next Saturday, stop by and see Matt and Forrest at the Hager House. And it's a great complement to the Christkindl market going on Saturday. So if you stop by there, take a quick drive over to the Hager House and take a 1-hour tour at 10 o'clock, noon, or 2.
And if anyone is looking for a gift for someone that says Hagerstown,
Yes.
there is the perfect gift. in the form of an ornament.
Exactly. We have 3 different options for an ornament
Oh,
now. We
okay.
have the City Park glass ornament,
All
which
right.
we still have in stock. If you take the tour, you learn 2 German traditions. I don't want to give too much away, but there's a pickle and there's a spider. A
Oh.
pretty spider. It sounds scary. But they're popular right now. So if you take a tour, you learn about these different traditions and what these ornaments mean.
Okay.
But if you want the traditional City Park Lake ornament, it's glass etched in a pretty box.
Yeah.
So it's a great gift for the holidays too. You can get that at the Hager House during German Christmas.
Wow.
And if you call our Parks and Rec office, you can get one from us too.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, lots going on. I mean, the holidays are upon us. Folks' minds are certainly, turning in that direction.
Yes.
So again, hopefully, people will incorporate some of these things into their holiday,
Yes.
perhaps make them a tradition
Yeah.
for, years ahead and, looking forward to what's going to go on in the future. But yeah, no time for Parks and Rec to slow down. That is for sure. I mean, it really picks up here at the end of the year and heading into the brand new year.
Yep.
Let's just finish up on this note.
Okay.
Because registration is open now for the 100 miler.
Read my mind.
Okay,
Yes, it's
okay,
open
yeah.
now.
So people-
And yep. So we want to get you in by January 9th if possible. So you can go log in to the city's website now for the 100 miler. And then you follow the links if you want to do just the basic entry, t-shirt, long sleeve. Check with your employer first too to see if they're sponsoring you. If you work for a company and you're like, they should sponsor us, have them call me. We can get you signed up. But yeah, so registration's open. We keep it open actually to the end of January because a lot of people still sign up. But it's great if we can get you in by the 9th of January when it starts. And you can come to the field house that evening too, and we'll register you on site as well. But there's plenty of time. I think we'll get a lot of people right after the holidays
Yeah.
because you're ready to start your New Year's resolution, including myself.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we all get there. At
We
that
all
point.
get there. It's all good.
I'm already suffering a little bit from Thanksgiving. So yeah, I signed up today for the
Okay,
100 miler,
great.
so-
And you always do a really good job.
Well,
so.
I mean, if you're going to do it, you may as well put everything into it. That's
Yes.
the way I look at it.
That's true.
It is a tough time of the year because, by the time you leave work, it's dark.
Yes,
And you're just
yes.
like, oh my gosh, I hate this day
I
in and day
know.
out. So I need to give myself something
Yes.
to motivate me to bring a little energy, especially at the end of the day. And that's where I sort of look at things because when the day starts, I'm kind of up and ready to go anyway.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day is where I need to
You need a
find
little
that boost.
motivation,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's great to know that in the back of my mind, hey, I need to get my mile in or whatever it might be that evening. Something to get me there.
Yep.
And get the most out of the program itself. But as always, great talking to
Yeah.
you. Got so much going on, and people should follow the Facebook page.
Yep.
For
Hagerstown
everything.
Parks and Rec.
Yep, Hagerstown Parks and Rec. And when does the new booklet come out? When does that come out?
So we do 2 a year. So right now our booklet is still active.
Yeah,
So
right.
there'll be programs in there for the fit room.
Okay.
January, February, March. So we still have some classes going
Okay.
on too. But the new one would come out by the end of March.
All right.
So our park season is basically April through October. So the guides kind of coincide a bit, but there's 2 a year. There's basically like a winter, spring, and then a summer, fall type scenario. But
Okay.
yeah, it's also online. You can flip through it on our
that-
website.
Actually, it's very cool to
Yeah.
do that. So lots going on, certainly with Hagerstown Parks and Rec as always. And hope all of you have a happy holiday season and partake in some of these activities and then get ready for the year ahead with the Hub City 100 Miler. Sign up for that today online. Thanks very much to Amy Riley. Thanks to all of you for watching. And I will see you next time and most likely in the new year on Council Wrap. For now, that is a wrap.